A U.S. military blockade on Iran's ports is now in effect. President Donald Trump says the blockade is aimed at preventing Iran from blackmailing the world. U.S. Central Command confirmed the blockade of all maritime traffic entering and exiting Iranian ports. When asked whether the endgame was to force Iran back to the negotiating table or open up the strait, Trump replied, maybe.
Maybe everything. I mean, both of those things, certainly, and more. We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen.
Echoing Trump's sentiments, U.S. Vice President JD Vance accused Iran of economic terrorism of its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. He added, two can play that game.
We need to see the Straits of Hormuz fully open. And this is frankly one of the things where the Iranians tried to move the goalposts during the negotiation. We made very clear that that's unacceptable.
The U.S. military has deployed at least 15 warships across the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea east of the strait. The blockade will be enforced impartially against vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports or coastal areas, but it will not impede vessels in the Strait of Hormuz traveling to and from non-Iranian ports. Iran has branded the blockade an act of piracy and warned that if the security of its harbors is threatened, no port in the Persian Gulf and the Arabian Sea will be safe.
Iran's policy in the Strait of Hormuz is clear. Any action that threatens Iran's security will be met with a proportional response. Any act against Iranian vessels will draw a corresponding response. Any harm to Iran's national interests will inevitably create security vulnerabilities that could endanger the safety of the American people.
Iran's ambassador to the United Nations has condemned the blockade as a grave violation of its sovereignty. In a letter to the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Amir Sayed Iravani said the unlawful blockade constitutes to a serious violation of the fundamental principles of the international law of the sea. Thousands rallied in Tehran in support of the government and against the U.S. blocking the Strait of Hormuz. Beijing, the biggest buyer of Iranian oil, has criticized the blockade, emphasizing the strait's importance to trade. Underlining Beijing's trade and energy agreements with Tehran, China has cautioned U.S. against blocking its ships. Defense Minister Admiral Dong Jun warned the United States to not interfere in China's bilateral affairs with Tehran, adding that Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz and it remains open for China. International Maritime Organization has said that additional restrictive measures will not help resolve the ongoing crisis, stressing that de-escalation is key to restoring normal shipping operations. The United Nations maritime agencies say no country has a legal right to block shipping in straits used for international transit. Trump has also claimed that the United States allies want to help with the operation. So far, no country, including its NATO allies, has pledged any support.